Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Madison. Worcester police investigating a stabbing in the city earlier today that sent one woman to the hospital. Police say a 37-year-old woman was slashed below her eye and on her hands on Main Street. 33-year-old Rebecca Hirsch is charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Police aren't sure what caused the stabbing. The victim was treated for minor injuries and later released from the hospital. A man already serving prison time pleaded guilty to beating an inmate to death today. Freeman admitted to beating William Sayers to death 2 years ago. He was sentenced to a consecutive life term Friday in Worcester Superior Court, Michael Freeman that is, for first-degree murder. Freeman said it wasn't a premeditated act.
At some point after he was in the cell with you, you formed a specific intent to kill him, correct?
Yes, while I was beating him, I decided to, do it until he was dead.
So again, at some point before he died, for whatever brief period, you formed a specific intent to kill him.
Yes.
Michael Freeman was already serving a life sentence for a fatal stabbing in 1995. 72-year-old Sayers was serving a life sentence after he was convicted of shooting his mother to death in 1973. A week from Monday, millions will gather in Boston on Patriots Day for the Boston Marathon. The race draws runners from all over the world. We caught up with a few here in central Massachusetts who are training and hoping to cross the finish line. Their goals are a little different.
I'd like to do it in a less amount of time than I did last year.
My goal is to finish. I was recently injured and been contemplating back and forth whether I should, whether I shouldn't. I have, good side, bad side.
Their mission is the same: cross the finish line at the Boston Marathon. Members of the Central Mass Striders have been training since January.
Whether that's track workouts, hill workouts, we come up here and train on the track. And then we have several races throughout the year.
And the race is now just days away. They're preparing physically and mentally for the course.
You've already done 17 miles when you start doing those hills, so your body's just getting tired.
And supporting one another every step of the way.
Really endurance. It's a lot of mental endurance.
Again, the race is a week from Monday. Now a bus will pick up the runners and in Worcester the morning of the race and take them to Boston for the marathon. The Worcester Public School could be facing significant cuts. The topic was discussed by the committee at last night's meeting. Our Brittany Schaefer has the details.
It is astonishing to me that anybody would tolerate any kind of cuts in education.
Worcester Public Schools could be facing major budget cuts for the upcoming academic year after Governor Baker released his fiscal 2017 state budget.
Education needs to be a priority. Our kids need to be a priority. They're our future.
I was disappointed because I think for gateway cities, there's so many challenges already to provide the services that we need, that we really need that extra funding.
The school administration is facing a $20.9 million budget gap. School committee members say Worcester is in need of more funding.
In Worcester, it's really important because we have a lot of different types of learners.
You want to add something, you have to take something away. And I just don't think that's right or fair for kids, and we should be adding what we're providing for students.
The Worcester Public Schools future superintendent, Maureen Beninda, says in order to make this new budget work, there will have to be staff cuts, and also the amount of students per class will increase.
It'll be a challenge when you have more students in your classroom to be able to achieve what you want to achieve.
The teacher is really overwhelmed in the classroom when she has 30 plus or even 25 students.
Beninda says as superintendent, she will reach out to the community for possible resources.
It'll be my job to let them know I'm behind them. These are tough times, and can we just pull it all together and join together and do the best we can.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Sticking in Worcester now, South High School got musical tips from an Austrian brass quintet on Friday. Nozzle Brass played at Mechanics Hall Thursday night. The group has been playing music since 1992 and performs all over the world. The South High School band played for the group, who then gave them pointers such as breathing techniques and ways to get a fuller sound. South High, of course, was one of the schools where a man allegedly tried to grab 3 separate students on their way to school earlier this week. Police saying the girls were able to fight off their attacker. Well, today our Tim McCone caught up with some self-defense experts who gave him tips about how to stay safe.
At Hanmi Taekwondo in Worcester, self-defense for women is one of the subjects they focus on.
Well, self-defense doesn't mean that someone, bumps into you and you got to strike them to the throat.
Right.
It's about, understanding the situation and the severity of it.
Master instructor Karen Brown says the key to self-defense is being aware of your surroundings.
It's the biggest thing. You got to be a little leery, and if you feel uncomfortable about something, there's a reason.
Some local police departments offer free self-defense classes. In Leicester, police put on the Rape Aggression Defense Program, also known as RAD.
It's a program strictly for women that teaches self-defense and avoidance tactics for anybody who is about to be attacked, particularly for a woman who's going to be sexually assaulted.
Leicester police usually run the course once a year. They say when women are through with the program, they have the tools to defend themselves.
The RAD program provides you the tools to use striking mechanisms if that is the choice you make or the decision you make to defend yourself. It teaches you the striking points and how to fight aggressively.
Brown stresses she hopes every woman takes part in a self-defense class.
I think they need to know what their weapons are and how to use them in case something were to happen, and then they need to know what to be aware of. Because a lot of women and girls, they're really not. So I think self-defense is really important for them.
Tim McCone, Worcester News Tonight.
If you're one of those people who may have found themselves checking your email or sending texts on your phone while driving, here's a heads up. Police are cracking down on distracted driving as part of a national campaign. Alicia Palumbo has the story.
A shocking head-on collision caught on camera in North Reading.
I witnessed her swerving left and right through the road, kicking up dirt on the right side, completely crossing on the left.
Marcial Bones of Tewksbury said he put his cell phone next to his dash cam mount and started recording after the female driver allegedly cut him off while allegedly texting on her cell phone. Bones says it was just a couple minutes later that her car crossed the center line and crashed into this Jeep, carrying a couple and their 5-month-old baby.
I'm very surprised that no one got seriously hurt. It was a pretty good collision.
This is just one example of why police departments across Massachusetts have begun a statewide crackdown on distracted driving this month.
If we see someone texting here in Massachusetts, obviously we can give them a citation for that. But there's also ways of being distracted. It may be something that rises even to the level of negligent operation.
Whether it's texting, playing with GPS, or putting on makeup at a red light, Newton Police Lieutenant Bruce Apotheker says his officers and others across the state will be on special details, pulling drivers over for being distracted.
When you're driving your vehicle, drive your car. That should be your main goal. Don't worry about a cell phone. Don't worry about anything else other than driving.
And North Reading police say the driver in that crash has been issued a summons. In Newton, Massachusetts, Alicia Palumbo, Worcester News Tonight.
More than 70 people attended a medical robotics forum at WPI earlier today. The forum, in celebration of National Robotics Week, looked at new ways of delivering and improving healthcare. The managing director of the Healthcare Delivery Institute at WPI says there is a growing demand for robotics to help in the medical field. With a growing aging population, the challenges to care for them is increasing. WPI and other researchers are working to create robots to help care for people.
Healthcare is looking for these technology innovations to supplement the care providers they have and also make them more efficient in the care that they're providing.
Get these problems, find out what are the real problems that clinicians are having, find the companies that are going to help us bring those to market, and find out what are the technologies we have in the lab that are going to be able to push this through.
WPI says more than 30 faculty members are a part of the Healthcare Delivery Institute community.